everyone? Welcome to 996 The Howl for the uninitiated. This is an unedited YouTube vlog discussing everything Arizona Coyotes. Today we're going to take a look at our star young forward who turns 21 years old at the end of July. Yes, Clayton Keller, who started off his Coyote franchise career amazing. Third place in Calder voting for the best rookie of his year. He had 65 points, 42 assists, including 23 goals, on fire, shooting 11%. He looked great, mainly paired with Derek Stepan, and Max Domi to start his rookie season. And then once Rick Tocchet realized that no one else was scoring and we couldn't have any confidence in Strome, Perlini, Duclair, or Dvorak finding the back of the net, he demotes Domi to a center line role on the second line, and then John Chayka trades out Duclair and brings in Richard Panik, and then Keller, Stepan, and Panik kind of ride out his rookie season on a high note. Pretty good trio there. Rick Tocchet tried to put him back together in the previous season, but unfortunately things didn't work out. Not sure. I think with Galchenyuk in the mix, Rick Tocchet kind of couldn't really find a good suitor for Keller, and then when Nick Schmaltz came in, Schmaltz and Keller really ignited a fire and hit things off, and then unfortunately Schmaltz gets injured, which I feel like in every video I make, I always comment on how Schmaltz got injured immediately after having amazing chemistry with Keller. But you know, let's see what's going on. Keller is entering his third and final year in his entry-level contract. What does he deserve? Is he going to get a huge pay raise? I don't know. His sophomore season really cemented why people say there is a sophomore slump in the NHL, because his totals last season with 14 goals, 33 assists, and 47 points, a huge step down from his rookie year. The fans were expecting Keller to really propel this team to the next step. And you know what? Not to put all the blame on Keller, but the whole team wasn't scoring a bunch at all. And having your leading point getter in the previous year, in his rookie year, not show up and be a driving force offensively really put a damper on the Coyotes season. But like I said, the whole Coyotes roster could not find the twine last season. But his shooting percentage was down last year, was down from 11 to about 7%. But all other things remain the same. His time on ice remained the same. His possession numbers pretty much remain the same. He averages about 56% Corsi numbers, which means if you're over 50% in the Corsi stat, that means your team is controlling the puck more than the other team. And being at 56% is pretty good for Keller. What helps determine that stat is his where is Clayton Keller starting on the ice? Where is he taking his face-offs, or where is he lining up for his face-offs? Because he's not a centerman. He is a winger. I think Tocchet tries him out on center sometimes on the power play, but his career face-off percentages aren't too great. But yes, his starts are pretty much always in the offensive zone. He's got 74% of his starts are in the offensive zone. That was last season. And in his rookie season, it was down to 68% of his starts were in the offensive zone. So last year he had 74% in the offensive zone, 25% in the defensive zone. So obviously Rick Tocchet deploys Keller to his strengths, and even though he did that, Clayton Keller still didn't perform huge numbers. So it kind of leaves me scratching my head. Like, Clayton Keller was put in the best situations to score points, and he was supposed to be our leading point guy, which I think he did pretty much end up being. But at 47 points, that's not high at all. And he was also a negative 21 last season compared to his rookie season, where he was a -3. And his rookie season, the team was terrible, both defensively. Offensively, they scored more in his rookie year, but defensively, the team was brutal. And to finish out that season with a -3, and then last season the team was much better defensively. They were about 6 in goals against. And to come out of that with a -21, another head scratcher for me. But not really sure how to, analyze that stat. I mean, sometimes he would play with Galchenyuk, and Galchenyuk wasn't known for his defensive prowess. But as the season got on, I felt Galchenyuk was much better defensively than when he first got onto the team. Quite noticeable change from the start of the year when he came back from that training camp injury to the end of the season. Felt Galchenyuk was improving defensively. And then near the end of the season last year, Keller was paired with Dvorak, who Dvorak's a good two-way center, but they just couldn't find that other winger for Keller once Schmaltz went down. It was pretty much Keller, Dvorak, and Fischer to close out the season, and Fischer was not helping at all. He had a pretty brutal season, Christian Fischer did. So I'm not expecting a huge pay raise for Keller, which is pretty good since the Coyotes don't have to, have a Sebastian Aho situation or Mitch Marner situation where Keller's going to demand over $8 million a year. I feel like he'll probably get about just a bit less than Schmaltz, maybe $5 million a year, no matter what happens this year. If Clayton Keller gets 80 points and he's a point per game player, which I hope, I mean, Chaika could probably talk him into a 5.5 contract, upwards to 6, but this sophomore season is going to be a huge blotch mark on his resume just for coming out of his ELC. I mean, obviously later down in his career, this past season won't matter, but coming out of that entry-level contract, you can see maybe a bridge or maybe a contract similar to Nick Schmaltz. And so in a sense, it's actually pretty good that Clayton Keller had a pretty bad sophomore year. But you never want to wish poorly on the guy. He was John Chaika's first draft pick ever as an Arizona Coyote GM, and that was a pretty big draft year, drafting Clayton Keller and Jacob Chikrin in the first round. But, I hope Nick Schmaltz comes back healthy. Well, he is going to be healthy. I hope he stays healthy next season. Maybe he's paired with Keller. I still don't know how these lineups are going to shake out now that Phil Kessel's in the mix. Rick Tocchet has mentioned he's going to try out Phil Kessel and Nick Schmaltz together, and then maybe have a net front presence guy like Lawson Krause or Christian Fischer on the other side of the wing. But who knows? Maybe Keller goes back with Derek Stepan and gets a young, maybe a Nick Merkley, Nate Schnarr, or Lawson Krause or Christian Fischer. I hope he's not paired with Christian Fischer. I really hope that this year Clayton Keller is paired with the best players available. Maybe a Vinny Hinostroza, Derek Stepan, Clayton Keller, and Hinostroza. I can see that being a nice line, a really nice line. But, Clayton Keller, how does he pass the eye test to me? I love his puck handling abilities. He's got amazing vision on the ice, probably the best vision on the team. I like how he wants to control the puck when he enters a zone. He doesn't usually do the chip and chase like most of the other Coyotes lines do, because that's Rick Tocchet's, his MO is to chip it past the defense, use your speed, get to the puck first, and then set up and put the puck to the net, either through the defense or through a half-wall play. But I like how Keller is like a Patrick Kane, where he likes to slow down the play, look for that open defenseman or that open trailing winger. I love it when Clayton Keller does that. Some blemishes on his play style. I feel like he needs more balance and more power on the stick. I'm not saying he needs to be a bigger guy, because his stature does not prove to be a bigger guy. He just needs to work on his balance, be harder on the puck, win those puck battles. Because to be honest, I see him get worked over a couple times in certain games when he's not on. He gets pushed over the puck numerous times. I feel it's noticeable to see him be pushed over the puck. But other than that, Clayton Keller's got to command the power play. He had 1 power play goal last year compared to his rookie year, where he had 6 power play goals. He just had that offensive flair in his rookie season, and I'm not sure what happened in his sophomore season. Like I mentioned before, with Nick Schmaltz, I really saw that ignited, and with a couple games with Krause and a couple games with Galchenyuk, I saw Keller ignited. But there was too many games where it seemed like he was taking the night off, which he needs to be our star player night in and night out. And hopefully Rick Tocchet finds a good combination and a good consistent combination, because that's what Keller needs. He needs to find chemistry with one of these guys on the roster. It wasn't really working with Dvorak, but maybe Dvorak and Keller hit the summer and get better, and they come out next season and they have better chemistry. But I really want to see him with high-end guys like Schmaltz and Kessel. A Schmaltz, Kessel, and Keller line would probably be their number one power play unit. So we'll see how many points Keller could rack up with Kessel there. I think that would be a dirty power play unit, and hopefully we get to see it. At least to start the season. I hope Tocchet decides to go all out for the first couple games, so that'll be fun to see. But other than that, Clayton Keller, he's got a big year ahead of him if he wants money and wants to be paid. If he has another lukewarm season, I could see him, probably getting $3.5 to $4 million. And then maybe John Shaika can work his wizardry and sign Keller to a long-term $4 million contract, which I doubt Keller would sign. But, I mean, if he has another 50-point season, John Shaika could kind of work his magic and get a discount on Keller and, expect to see Keller hit that ceiling in his prime years and not so early in his career like he's kind of having trouble with. But if he could replicate his rookie numbers and maybe exceed his rookie numbers, you're looking at $5+ million. And that's where I want him. I want him to get back to his rookie form and be that star young forward that the Coyotes need, because, I'm kind of getting nervous and anxious about the Coyotes' development with their young forwards. I mean, kind of missed the mark with Domi, Duclair, Strome, and Perlini. And I know those guys aren't amazing players who are doing amazing things. Yes, Domi had a wicked start with the Canadiens. We'll see what happens this year on his second year with the Canadiens. Duclair kind of never found his footing. Perlini struggling on his new team. Strome, yes, he's producing. We'll see what happens. He's producing on a team that just lets him go out there and just do everything he wants offensively and doesn't really care that much defensively, the Chicago Blackhawks. I know Rick Tocchet really prides himself in a defensive type style game, and he structures the Coyotes game to be defensively minded. And that's why you have the goalie stats are high for the Coyotes and why their defensive stats are high. And you look at Chicago and they just get run around in their own zone and they win games 6-5, 5-4, 5-3, as opposed to Coyotes who eke out wins just by scoring that third most important goal. So yeah, haven't had like a Coyote-born draft pick forward really propel himself and establish as a great young player. Schmaltz is pretty much in the lead there, but he wasn't even drafted. He's probably the most offensively minded Coyote young player. Then you have Phil Kessel, who obviously wasn't drafted by the Coyotes. Defensively, Coyotes draft well, OEL, Chychrun, and we'll see with Soderstrom what happens there. And Barrett Hayden is the next young forward up after Clayton Keller. We still have Nick Merkley and Nate Schnarr in the middle there, but they're not highly touted prospects. They're more like a Dvorak type prospect. But maybe Hayden makes a jump and kind of pushes Keller to exceed and put a fire under his behind and force Keller to become that number one Coyotes forward and doesn't let Barrett Hayden take that torch from him. So we'll see. It's an important year for Keller. That's why I wanted to make this video. And seeing his differences between his rookie year and his sophomore year, we could see that, his shooting percentage was low, but his shot attempts were the same. Shots on goal were the same. 4% difference in actual goal scoring. Possession numbers were the same. Time on ice were the same. Given more offensive zone times at 74%. So I don't know what's going to happen with Keller. He's got to get back up to a 10% shooting percentage. He'll probably round out at about 8.5. So you're looking at a 20 goal scorer, but he makes his money in his assists with 42 in his rookie year and 33 in his sophomore year. So I like those assist numbers. Those are really high. And now that he'll probably play with Kessel, I expect those to rise a little bit. And playing 80 games with Schmaltz, it should do nothing but increase. So I'm on this train with you guys to see what happens in his third year, and I hope it's a good one. But that's it. That's all I got to say about Clayton Keller. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching.